So our advanced question for lines is going to be two sets of parallel lines. And with that situation, we have a couple things that we know. And the easiest thing to do is maybe mark the angles that we know are congruent first. So we have our our line BC and our line AD, which are parallel. And when we have our line AB that intersects, we know that we have vertical angles congruent. We have angle 2 and angle 1 are congruent because they're alternate interior. And we have angle 1 and angle A. So we know that these are congruent. With that being said, we also know that angle B is congruent to angle 6. And we know that the other side, the other pair of vertical angles are equal all the way through. Now, the reason why I care about that is because when I have my other transversal being cut, that also gives me some information. I know that these vertical angles are equal. I know angle 5 and angle 4 are equal, and I know its vertical angle is equal, as well as all of the other vertical angles. So angle 3 and the one across from it, and then the one that's corresponding or alternate interior and corresponding to angle 3. So we know that those are equal. Now going the other way, so we kind of have to think about this twice. So going the other way, we know, if we take those lines, if we've got our parallel lines being the ones that we were using as transversals, we also have that idea of which ones are equal. So the easiest thing to do is just pay attention to those things that we know. And as we're looking, we know that angle B is 65. And so going all the way back, knowing that this is 65, that tells us that angle 6 is 65, which tells us this angle is 65, and its vertical angle is 65. And so with that, we also know angle 2, angle 1, and angle A if we need it. And the way we're going to do that is we're just going to take, if this is 65, we know that 180, because it's a straight line, is 60. 180 minus 65 is going to be our other angle. So when we subtract that, then we know that that is going to be 115. So we know that this angle is 115, angle 2 is 115, angle 1 is 115, and angle A is 115. And so that's taking care of that one line. But with that idea of us having another pair of parallel lines, that helps us figure out what's going on the other end. So our 3, 5, and 4. But we do have to look at it a little bit different. So it's kind of like you're going to turn your paper sideways, and we're going to look at these two being parallel lines and having, which color do I want to do? And having this be your transversal. So knowing that, and you already have your 65, 65, but that also, even though we have it marked in a different color down here, we also know that if we have our 65, 65, or we have our A and our 1 is 115, then we know the alternate interior, which are our blue one. So we know that if we're looking at the zigzag, I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll just do zigzag. We know that this is 115, then we know this is 115, which we know this is 115. And so same idea. And if we know that those are 115, then we can figure out the rest. So we know that this is 115, this is 115, which makes 3 be 115 because we already know that those are congruent, which makes C be 115. And then it's going to go the same way. So if you have 65, if this is your transversal and you have 65 being equal, then that's going to be equal to 60, or number 4, angle 4 is going to be equal to 65 because they're alternate interior. And then angle D is 65 because they're vertical. And then angle 4 is congruent to angle 5 because they're alternate interior based on the other way, like the parallel line that's going horizontal instead. And then we know that this is 65. But you do have to do a little bit of work there to see that relationship because you have two sets of parallel lines.